This time, I am being a little exhaustive in explaining to you that why Mercury conjunct Neptune is an important thing which you need to keep it in your mind, because it is dreams versus your reality. It is an illusory, because one planet is very real and the other planet gives a lot of illusions to your mind. So, how you need to clarify your perceptions, and this is such a beautiful conjunct that actually you can give vent to your dreams by giving manifesting it in a very realistic way. I to further on in our part two is also I'm going to explain that what is the impact of Mercury conjunct Neptune. You need to know very categorically that where in your natal charts, where was Mercury placed, where was Neptune, and now in this transit moment, how or which house they are in, so that you can understand that that particular house is where you can actually give vent to your imaginations and make them your realities. Get out of the fantasy world and see that realistically how you can manifest it. Now, with the Mercury Neptune contacts, it is the mind level that is primarily sensitized and activated, so that the imaginative quality is emphasized and the main focus of life appreciation is through mental receptivity. The conjunction indicates a channel between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, and both the energy and information flowing through this conduit need to be carefully integrated if a variety of imbalance and distortions is not to be created. The faculty of imagination will be highly stimulated and developed, and this will certainly require appropriate channels to be focused on so that other problems of perception are not created. The issue of mental realities is one which can make you unsettled, especially as you can tend to make mistakes in your judgment based on misinterpreting facts and suggestive information. You have a mental process that can attempt to recreate experiences into more acceptable forms for your personal absorption, a style of selective manipulation which excludes aspects of reality that you refuse to acknowledge. If this process becomes a regular pattern of your mental behavior, then you are liable to create a distinctly personal reality that is a fusion of the real and unreal, which can pose additional challenges when it comes to disentangling them. Give it a thought. The amount of information we are fed in today's world because of the ongoing corona, and what are the reality checks, rather than getting being overfed with things, try to siphon out, try to disentangle things, try to disentangle from fact and fiction, and only focus on what is important to do during these stressful times. This is often amplified by a tendency to be mentally escapist, avoiding the possibility of any painful experiences and situations by refusing to become involved in things. Relationships are likely to be characterized by over idealism of lovers, either through having the mental illusion of a perfect lover that is unlikely to exist and comparing everyone to this perfect lover. This I also spoke in my first video, because I need you all to understand that when Mercury is conjuncting Neptune, the relationships are the one that get effect. Now that in these times you all are going to be staying together, it's very important for you all to know that familiarity can breed contempt. What you had visualized or what is actually the realistic part of it, this is where you need to justify, become realistic, and not keep comparing people. Look within yourself and you will realize that actually your own psychic intuition is of paramount importance. Now, Mercury conjunct Neptune is the most potent combination for poetical and magical thinking. It supplies the native with a gushing well of imagination that knows no bounds. As its most positive, or at its most positive, this aspect is fabulous for the artist or the musician because it works so well with non-verbal communication. So give words to your thoughts, give words to your creativity. Indulge in your favorite passions and hobbies. Neptune is associated with the right brain, which is non rational thinking, and with Mercury, you might imagine that this aspect could cause learning difficulties and foggy recall. Now, this can be true if negatively aspected, but generally, the conjunction seems to be very gifted in glamorizing information and showing things in the best possible light. The Instagram filter is your best Mercury Neptune tool, as is the advertiser's dream application, Photoshop. The typical Mercury Neptune person has a gift for distorting reality. A distortion can be highly creative or dangerously misleading. It's a common combination for those who work in the media and more especially the advertising industry. And if you see now also, everything is like sometimes you get all these forwards which are a figment of imagination. There is a medicine that has been this thing. We all need to take reality checks, what has happened, what is really happening, and what we are required to do. Because these are the days, if you see, people's minds are working overtime. And it is so natural that even the universe is actually telling you that Mercury is coming in conjunct with Neptune. So obviously the mind is working overtime. It is up to every individual how you can decipher the truth from the fiction. And during this time, every individual can be very psychic, and it is also able to infiltrate the mind of others. Most often, this is done by brainwashing with subliminal imagery and romantic tear jerking music. You see this done so well within the movie industry and in the pop promo videos. It's interesting. So many industry songbirds are on the list below, plus a couple of porno stars too. I guess that would show Neptune's dissolving of boundaries pretty blatantly. Of course, lying would be one of Mercury conjunct Neptune's worst manifestations, and this also leads to making one a skilled propagandist. This is not then really the position of the scientist or the engineer, as this aspect can so readily make adjustments to the truth. However, social engineering in the form of the Tavistock Institute kind would resonate strongly with this archetype. Now, Mercury conjunct Neptune is a gift to the psychologist, as they will be able to read their patients very well. On the other hand, this can also be the narcissist that carefully studies the psyche of their prey so that they can manipulate them. Of course, gaslighting would also be possible too with this aspect. Now, actually, the what I have also been thinking about, that the natives or the natal chart, Mercury conjunct Neptune, what are the people, like I can discuss with you all about Rudolf Steiner, who was born with a Mercury conjunct Neptune. He was famous for trying to find a bridge between science and spirituality. Now, Steiner, also known as Steiner, was a philosopher, social reformer, architect, and an esoterist, like I am. He was into these esoteric sciences. Steiner's early spiritual experiences demonstrate his Mercury conjunct Neptune really well. At age 9, he saw the spirit of his aunt asking for help just before she committed suicide, before any of his family knew. However, Steiner kept his psychic abilities under wraps, and during his early career, he's generally seen as the mercurial scholar, that is, until he went mad or the Neptunian took over him after the age of 40. Steiner first began speaking publicly about spiritual experiences and phenomena in his 1899. It happened in the year 1899, lectures to the Theosophical Society. By 1901, he had begun to write about spiritual topics, initially in the form of discussion of historical figures such as the mystics of the Middle Ages. Now, this is in Wikipedia. You could probably open it up and read about it. So, in a nutshell, when we talk about the Mercury and the Neptune, it's basically your mind versing your heart, your mind creating the dreams and the fantasies, and your heart actually knowing the correct truth. Further reiterating in Wikipedia, it goes to state that Stirner's view of Christianity diverged from conventional Christians' thought in key places and included the Gnostic elements. So, Rudolf Steiner's life is a great example of the themes of Mercury conjunct Neptune. His conjunction, perhaps not surprisingly, was in Pisces. And Pisces, as we all know, is a sign or is a house which actually talks and fabricates the dreams. How to put these dreams into reality is what Mercury conjunct Neptune is all about.